Hello and thank you for joining me. I'm Heather Forgan of stampwithnellie.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK, and I made this trick or treat box for the Inspire Ink blog hop, and our theme for this month is Halloween. Now, I don't really do Halloween, so I don't actually have any specific Halloween products. But what I do have is the mini alphabet die to cut out my letters, and I've also got this Choose Happy stamp set that has a little pumpkin face, and a little star there, as well as the word boo. So I have actually done some tone-on-tone stamping on this as well, but it is incredibly difficult to see. I did think about doing heat embossing with it, but I didn't actually like the shiny look. I wanted it to be quite matte and old looking. So I will do the tone-on-tone stamping again, because I think it adds a little bit if you look closely, but you have to look really closely. So what's inside? Is it a trick or a treat? Now, it's a little bit of both, because if I pull this, then it reveals a little sign that pops up and says boo. And then I've also got some little bits of twine in there and a chocolate treat. So it's a chocolate frog. And when I gift these to certain little boys that I know, I will also put some plastic spiders inside, but I didn't want to do that for this video because I do not want to lose any viewers that have any phobias of spiders. I have to say I'm not a fan myself, so I thought I would just keep this one plain, and it's kind of a little bit like web, and I will have some of that on there so that hopefully when it opens it might go ping, but maybe not. We'll see. So anyway, I'm going to make another one, show you how to make it. They are actually quite easy, but I've just added quite a lot bit of detail with extra inking and things like that. So I need a piece of black card, basic black, that measures 7 3/4 by 4 1/8 of an inch. Then I have pumpkin pie for the tray that's inside here. That measures 6 inches by 4 1/2. And then I've got my two little pieces for my surprise element. And that is 1 inch by 1 1/2. And then 1 1/8 by 5/8, just so that we've got that there. And I also need to have a little bit of window sheet as well. Okay, so I am gonna just stamp on this first of all with my little pumpkin in Memento black ink. And as I say, this is just a little bit extra that isn't actually necessary at all. It's just if anybody looks closely, they might see it. So I'm not doing an awful lot. And then I'm going to put the little pumpkin's face, his little smiley face, somewhere in the middle there as well. Let's get that a bit more inky. Doesn't have to be perfect, because as I say, it's just an extra little element should anyone wish to check it out. And I'm going to do this, fill in a little bit more with the stars, and then this bit will be ready to do our scoring. And then I'll add a little bit more ink to it. and put boo a few times on there as well. You could do your scoring first and place your stamps accordingly, but just gone for it. In fact, whilst I've got that out, let us just do the little sentiment bit. So again, we've got our pumpkin and his face. Oh, ink that up properly. Here he is. Don't like that. I'm going to turn it over and try it again. Let's try not rock the stamp this time. Better, much better. And then our little boo. Like so. And I will need to colour that. And I'm just going to use my pumpkin pie Stampin' Blend. I am just colouring, I'm not blending, shading, etc. Just going to grab a green Old Olive, you'll do, to colour in that little stalk there. So that's okay for now. I will distress that a little bit more with more ink, but let's get on and do the scoring on these two main parts. So I'm using my trimmer because we have to use 1/16 of an inch. Sorry, but it just has to be sometimes. Okay, so this piece here, 4.5 inches by 6 inches, and I want to score that at 1 inch on all four sides. Just remembered I do need another little scrap of pumpkin pie that will cover up the ribbon pull on the inside and that little piece of window sheet there. So it needs to be, she's forgotten, it needs to be just short, so 2 3/8. And I'm just going to do that by 7/8. So it will be a little bit smaller than that section there. Okay, then onto the black piece. That is 4 1/8 by 7 3/4. Don't need to do any scoring on the short side, but we do need to score at 2 9/16. So I'm taking that to 2.5, and then I'm just going to that little mark, the first little mark after 2.5. Okay, cutting blade out the way. That's my first score line. And then it's 3 5/8. So that's 3.5, and then 2 little marks, 3 5/8. Then this one's tricky because it's 6 3/16, and it's kind of in this join piece here. So 1 2 3. Okay, so there's a large mark there. It's the one before that. Is it? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's score that. And then my last one is at 7 1/4. And that's the nice and easy one. Yay! Done. Okay, now I know I've stamped that and I can hardly see that. Never mind. Let's just burnish these score lines. I'm going to take a little wedge off that tab at the end there, just to reduce some of the bulk in the corners. That is it for that bit. For our tray, let me just burnish those. And I did notice I've got a little bit of black ink on there, and that is not a problem because I'm going to add more. Okay, so let's just cut up and wedge each side of those outer corner squares like that. So straight up, then a little wedge out, and a little wedge out. Okay, and do exactly the same on the other end. Straight up, wedge, wedge. Last one, little chop, chop. Okay, so that's how we now look. Okay, so I am going to fold in all 4 of those tabs, get the glue, add glue to each of them. This is a new glue bottle and I didn't want to squeeze. Alright, then I'm just folding that edge to that edge there and press it at the back there. Got a nice right angle. Same again, just lining that edge up with that folded edge there. Give it a press. Again, lining up my cut edge with my folded edge. Press it. And the last one. Okay, once I'm happy with all of that, I can give a good press with my bone folder. On the inside, like so. Now then, I need a hole punch for my ribbon. Okay, I like to use my Crocodile. I use this for all sorts of things. And I'm just going to put that, it's difficult to show you, in the middle on that panel there with the smaller hole, and just give that punch there like that. Okay, now then I have some silver trim and I just want to take a little bit and drop it on the floor. No, it didn't quite go as far as the floor, just my lap. And that's going to go in there. But it's a bit bright, isn't it? So, basic black. Let me come in with this. And I'm just going to run my Stampin' Blend the whole length of that, turn it over, and do the same again. And it won't take too long to dry because the alcohol will just evaporate, and it takes it down quite a bit. So let me just show you the contrast. That's the original and that's the black. Okay, so I've got black ink everywhere now. So I'm going to take the two ends, put that in a loop, and try and put those through that one hole, like so. Then open out the two ends, and I have tearing tape here somewhere. There it is. Grab a piece of that, open out those bits of the ribbon like that, and just put my tearing tape over. It's just holding that in place. And I'm going to take the backing off it because we will be gluing that in there as well. Okay, but first I'm going to add some more ink to my pieces of card. Again, totally optional. The mechanism will work with or without it. It's just that for me it adds a little bit. So before I do that though, I will just make this sleeve up. Okay, so just glue on that tab there, fold that over like that. Okay, full folder, give it a good press, and like that. Okay, so then ink, I have sponge daubers for this. So I have one for white and one for black. So this is my Whisper White ink pad. I'm going to put white on the black along the edges. That will do us with the white ink. Okay, so my join's there, so that's the bottom. I obviously want to put my RIP on that, but we'll do a little bit more with the black ink. Not RIP, trick or treat. I did think RIP at first. Okay, so black ink this time, another sponge dauber. Now this time, bring that scrap back in. I want to make sure that I'm taking almost everything off because I don't want it to be too black. I just want a little bit around the ends. And that will do for that piece. I'll put a little bit of black around the edge of this piece just to take down that white. a little tad. Okay. Don't need to ink that, but then I do need my trick or treat. So you'll see I've got a tiny little bit of ink on there, and again I am just using what's left on this like so, so that there's just a tiny little bit. If I needed to add any more, I would again wipe most of it off before I go on to these other letters. And don't worry, I have already done most of them. It was just these three I wanted to show you. So again, make sure I'm taking most of that off before I come in. So I don't want it to be too kind of sticky. So if you look like that, that's full strength ink. I don't want that on there. Okay, so that's my trick or treat. All my letters are in there. Let's get doing the final little pieces. So I'm going to do my decoration on here. Just going to lay out my letters first of all. And hope I haven't lost any in the process. Trick or T, right? So I am going to add them with some glue that I have put into a little bottle like that. And the great thing about this is it does not have to be nice and neat and tidy. So I will fast forward you through this process. Right, so I have my components here. I just need to do the last piece, and I'm going to just cut, I use my big scissors, a little piece of window sheet, and I'm going to glue the top of it to the back of my pumpkin piece, and then I'm going to glue that pumpkin piece onto the pumpkin pie piece like that. Give that a good press down. Now, I do not want it to be too long. I think I want to take a little bit off that. It's just judging by eye, really. So I think that's 1.5 inches-ish on there. Put some glue on the bottom of that and stick it in the middle of this section here. Don't worry if glue comes out, and I forgot I was going to take that backing paper off to give me a better chance. Let's just do it now. Come on. There we go. Yeah, don't worry if you make a mess of glue in there, because you're going to cover it up with that extra piece that we cut. Okay, so that tea and tape will help glue that in place to then be covered by this little bit that we cut, and pop that in there. So I'm lining that up down the bottom there. I do want to give that a good squeeze at the top there as well. Okay. A little treat that goes in there, and my added extra of some black twine that I simply unwound. So if you just twist it, it'll start to unravel. You grab a bit, pull it off, and then it'll make it a little bit easier to get the other bits to come out. So I think there are 5 strands to this baker's twine. I just kind of thought it looked a little bit creepy to have very wibbly, wavy pieces of twine in there as well. And as I say, when it goes to the little boys that are getting them, they will have spiders in there too, but I'm not going to freak myself or anyone else out with them at this stage. And there we go. We have our 2 trick-or-treat boxes. Give it a pull, and then you've got your little booth on there like that. My final bit of sparkle on them was some of these adhesive back sparkle gems, and I would have used black mainly, but I didn't have any left. Well, very many left, so I've got using some of the gold ones to tie in with the pumpkin pie as well. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope the little boys that receive them will enjoy them as well. I know for sure they'll enjoy the chocolate and probably the spiders. Thank you so much for watching. Please do click on the description for this video. You'll get a link to my blog post that has all of the measurements, and also has links to everyone else taking part in this Halloween blog hop, so you can get lots more spooky inspiration. Thanks for watching. Bye.